We're going to make a Christmas gift tag. It's always a simple project and great fun to do. We're going to be using the KK glue anchored by these embossing stamps, which are really useful. We're going to use some pre-cut basic gift tags, parcel tags, whatever you'd like to call them. And then we're going to decorate with foil, paint through a really nice Tim Holtz stencil, and use one of the Colouricious printing blocks. We're going to use an embossing ink pad to help the foil attach to the gift tag. I'm going to show you a couple of ways of using it. This is just basically plonking, that's a terribly technical term, the ink pad. You're using it, you don't need to use a paintbrush or anything, you're just working with the ink pad. You can use the edge of it, you can do plaid, all kinds of things. I'm just going to maybe do a stripe version with this one. And then we're ready to sprinkle the KK glue. While the embossing ink is still quite damp, we're going to sprinkle the KK glue. It's got a little sprinkly section on the lid there, onto it, just quite lightly. You don't need a huge amount. I'm just going to sprinkle over all 3 tags because I don't want to let it dry out, because otherwise nothing will stick. Then you close the lid on your KK glue and you literally just shake off the residue glue, pop that to one side just for a moment, and then shake off the rest of the glue. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to pop the glue back in the pot. Now the glue is attached to the lovely wet embossing ink, we're going to fix it so it doesn't move. This is baking parchment, non-stick, and the iron is between wool and cotton, off steam. Once the baking parchment and the card has cooled right down, you'll find it's very easy to remove the baking paper on the top. If it tugs, it means that the glue is still hot and you need to wait for a little bit longer. It should come off cleanly. Now we're ready, everything's cool, the glue is all fixed, and now we can go on with the foiling. I'm going to use gold and turquoise foil, and I'm going to pop that one on there, and I'm actually going to foil these ones together because the foil is big enough. I'm going to pop the baking parchment back on again, and then with the iron still between silk and wool, I'm going to iron the foil colour side up onto the glue. It's very important that the iron isn't too hot. If the iron is too hot, the foil will pucker up because it's on a plastic carrier sheet, and then it won't release the colour, and it's just a big disappointment and a waste of time. So not too hot, and about 30 seconds or so. And then again, you need to wait for that to cool right down. Everything's cooled down nicely now. I can take the backing paper off and then take off the foils. They shouldn't tug, everything should be cooled down. It should just peel off nice and neatly. So you can see you've got some interesting backgrounds to print onto. I love this process, it's really easy, you don't need paintbrushes or anything, just a stamp pad. This is the tag that we're going to make, or something similar. The colours will change slightly as they do. You can see we've got the basic stamp pad that's been glued with the KK glue and then foiled with some gold foil. We've got a similar thing here. The little spots come from this stencil. I'm just going to show you how to very gently sponge some colour through, and then finally we're going to add another layer, because I think the layering of the printing processes works so well that we're going to actually use a printing block as well. We're going to be using this beautiful one from the Colouricious range. I'm going to use this little spotty stencil. I love this one. The key to all good stenciling, when you're working with paint, you don't need a lot of paint. Just gently dab the paint through the stencil. Just going to check that it's not too subtle. There we go, just a little bit more. That's better. A little bit more pressure, Kim. And then Now I'm going to do some block printing with this little cheeky block. You pop your paint onto your sponge, just dab it on. It's very, very easy. I always love basic processes. The simpler the better, and you always get fabulous effects. So I'm just going to decide where I'm going to go. I think I might put this one on point, just because I can. Give it a little bit of pressure. Don't move it. And it's always good to print. I'm just going to add a little bit more paint. Print onto a nice squidgy printing foam board. Colouricious do sell these, and they do include them in their kits, which is very, very useful. I'm just going to fill in the edges. I quite like taking things to the edge. And because this is a square block, let's give it a little bit of pressure. You can fill in quite nicely. For me, that's quite geometric, which is very unusual. Take it to the edge of the block and to the edge of the green printing mat. Just put a little bit more paint on and fill in the middle corner here and turn this round so we've got a little bit more paint. This corner here, and we'll just finish at the end by the tag there. So you have a fabulous printed tag with lots of layers, and now you just need to find whether you want string or ribbon or a piece of organza to finish it off to make a beautifully finished parcel for Christmas.